your heavenly gift, and a new perspective on abundance. Pause for a moment and listen carefully. If this message has reached you today, allow yourself to consider it as an invitation to reflect on faith, provision, and the possibilities ahead. You may be entering a season in which your understanding of abundance begins to change. If you found peace, strength, or encouragement through this message, please subscribe, and may God continue to bless and guide you every day. For a long time, you may have wondered why you have had to wait, struggle, and work through repeated financial challenges. You may have questioned whether your circumstances would ever improve, but your present situation does not have to define your future. The heavens are often described in Scripture as a source of provision, wisdom, and hope. Rather than focusing solely on what you lack today, begin recognizing the opportunities, abilities, relationships, and resources that may already exist around you. This can become a transformative shift in perspective. Your breakthrough may not arrive in the exact form you expect. It may come through a new opportunity, a wise decision, a productive relationship, improved financial discipline, or an unexpected path that you could not previously see. This is your opportunity to approach the future with faith and wisdom. Hashtag the principle of heavenly multiplication. Pause and consider something important about money, wealth, and abundance. Many people grow up hearing that financial struggle is simply their permanent reality. They hear statements such as, "I will always struggle," "My family has never had money," "People like us never become financially secure," "Getting ahead is impossible." Over time, these statements can become deeply rooted beliefs. But a difficult financial history does not have to become a permanent financial identity. Your parents' circumstances do not determine your entire future. Your current income does not determine your ultimate potential. Your past mistakes do not have to become permanent limitations. God is not limited by the circumstances that currently surround you. The biblical concept of multiplication can be understood as stewardship, taking what has been placed in your hands and using it wisely, responsibly, and faithfully. A seed can become a harvest. A small opportunity can develop into something meaningful. A skill can become a source of income. A wise financial decision can create stability over time. A healthy relationship can open the door to new possibilities. This is multiplication in a practical sense. Money itself is not the ultimate source of security. Neither is a job, a business, an inheritance, or another person. True stability requires wisdom, discipline, preparation, faith, and responsible action. When you understand this, you stop viewing yourself as powerless. You stop saying, "I need someone to rescue me financially." Instead, you begin asking, "What can I build with what God has already placed in my hands?" That change in thinking is powerful. You are not required to create everything from nothing. You can learn. You can prepare. You can save. You can develop valuable skills. You can seek wise counsel. You can make better decisions. And you can remain faithful while pursuing greater financial stability. When your mindset changes, your behavior can change with it. And when your behavior changes consistently, your circumstances may eventually begin to change as well. Opportunities become easier to recognize. Connections become more meaningful. Resources are managed more carefully. Financial decisions become more intentional. What once looked like coincidence may simply be the result of preparation meeting opportunity. This does not require believing that money will magically appear. It requires believing that your future is not permanently restricted by your past. Your financial story can change. Your family story can change. Your relationship with money can change. And the process can begin with one decision today. Write in the comments, "I declare wise and faithful multiplication in my life." Let this declaration represent more than words. Let it remind you to pursue opportunity responsibly, manage your resources carefully, and remain committed to the future you are building. Your abundance is not simply something you wait for. It is something you prepare to steward. Hashtag breaking the pattern of generational financial struggle. Now, pause and look honestly at your family's financial history. Perhaps your parents struggled with money. Perhaps your grandparents experienced similar difficulties. Maybe previous generations carried debt, insecurity, or limited financial opportunities. After seeing the same pattern repeated for years, it can be tempting to believe that financial struggle is permanently embedded within your family. But a pattern is not the same thing as a destiny. Your family's history may influence you, but it does not have to control every decision you make. You may have inherited certain beliefs about money. Perhaps you learned to fear spending because resources were always scarce. Perhaps you learned to spend quickly because you never trusted that money would remain. Perhaps you were never taught how to budget, invest, save, negotiate, or plan for the future. These patterns can be changed. You do not have to repeat every financial behavior you witnessed growing up. You can become the person who begins a different chapter. Instead of passing financial fear to the next generation, you can pass on knowledge. Instead of passing debt without understanding, you can teach responsibility. Instead of teaching scarcity, you can teach preparation. Instead of allowing financial mistakes to remain hidden, you can learn from them. This is how generational change begins, not through a magical transformation overnight, but through thousands of better decisions made consistently. The cycle can be interrupted when someone decides, "This pattern may have shaped my past, but it will not determine my future." That person can be you. Your breakthrough may not simply be receiving more money. Your breakthrough may be becoming wise enough to manage what you already have. It may be learning how to create additional income responsibly. It may be eliminating unnecessary debt. It may be building savings. It may be developing a skill that increases your earning potential. It may be learning to recognize opportunities without allowing desperation to make your decisions. And above all, it may be developing the faith and discipline to continue when immediate results are not visible. You do not have to remain trapped inside the financial story of previous generations. The chapter can change. The pattern can change. The decisions can change. And eventually, the legacy can change. Your goal is not simply to receive abundance. Your goal is to become capable of stewarding it wisely. That is where lasting transformation begins. Perhaps you have experienced financial difficulty for much of your life. You work hard, yet unexpected expenses seem to consume what you earn. You attempt to save, but emergencies repeatedly force you to use those savings. You may have dreamed about financial security for years while feeling as though something continually pushes you back into uncertainty. It can be tempting to describe this experience as a generational curse, but there is another way to understand it. Financial patterns can pass from one generation to another through circumstances, habits, beliefs, education, and behavior. A family that repeatedly experiences scarcity may unintentionally pass those patterns forward. However, those patterns are not permanent. They can be recognized, they can be challenged, and they can be changed. You do not have to accept the financial limitations of previous generations as your destiny. Perhaps earlier generations developed beliefs such as, money is difficult to keep. People like us never become wealthy. Having money creates problems. We will always struggle. These beliefs can influence financial decisions long after the original circumstances have disappeared. But your inheritance does not have to consist only of the struggles you witnessed. You can choose to inherit the lessons without repeating the limitations. A financial pattern loses its power when you become conscious of it and begin making different decisions. Ask yourself honestly, do you spend impulsively when money arrives? Do you avoid looking at your finances because they create anxiety? Do you undermine opportunities when they begin to succeed? Do you feel guilty about wanting financial security? Do you repeatedly find yourself in avoidable financial emergencies? Do you believe you are somehow unworthy of prosperity? Do people around you discourage you whenever you attempt to improve your financial situation? These questions are not evidence of a supernatural curse. They are signs that certain financial beliefs and behaviors may deserve your attention. And once you recognize a pattern, you can begin changing it. This transformation is not only about you. The decisions you make today can influence your children and future generations. When you learn financial responsibility, you can pass that knowledge forward. When you learn to save, you can teach the value of preparation. When you understand debt, investing, budgeting, and long-term planning, you can provide future generations with knowledge that previous generations may never have received. That is how a financial legacy changes, not through fear, not through superstition, but through awareness, faith, education, discipline, and consistent action. Make this declaration. The financial patterns of my past do not determine my future. I choose wisdom, discipline, prosperity, and responsible stewardship. Let these words represent a commitment to change. Your family's financial struggle does not have to continue indefinitely. Your children can inherit knowledge instead of fear. They can inherit financial education instead of confusion. They can inherit assets instead of unnecessary debt. They can inherit a healthier relationship with money. This is the beginning of a new legacy. Hashtag the hidden code of financial acceleration. There is another important principle you need to understand. Financial growth is often presented as if there were a secret formula known only by wealthy people. But there is no supernatural code that guarantees sudden wealth, and no declaration can guarantee that money will appear within a specific number of days. What does exist is a powerful combination of principles that can accelerate financial progress when applied consistently. The first principle is clarity. You need to know what financial abundance actually means to you. Do not define success entirely according to your parents' expectations. Do not allow social media to determine what wealth should look like. Ask yourself, what does financial security mean for my life? How much do I realistically need? What kind of home do I want? What level of savings would make me feel secure? What debts do I want to eliminate? What future do I want to create for my family? Clarity gives your financial decisions direction. Without a destination, even significant effort can become scattered. The second principle is mindset. Instead of constantly telling yourself that money is impossible to obtain or impossible to keep, develop beliefs that support responsible financial behavior. This does not mean pretending that you already possess wealth. It means developing the mindset of someone who is prepared to create and manage it. Think long term. Avoid impulsive decisions. Learn continuously. Become comfortable discussing money. Recognize opportunities without allowing desperation to control you. Your mindset influences your behavior, and your behavior influences your financial results. The third principle is alignment. Your goals, beliefs, and actions need to move in the same direction. If you say you want financial security, but consistently spend beyond your means, there is a contradiction. If you want to build savings, but continually postpone the process, there is a contradiction. If you want to eliminate debt, but continue accumulating unnecessary obligations, there is a contradiction. Alignment means bringing your intentions and behavior together. Ask yourself, does the way I use money today support the future I say I want? If the answer is no, that is not a reason for shame. It is an opportunity to make a different decision. The fourth principle is action. Faith without action remains incomplete. Prayer can strengthen your spirit, but practical decisions are still necessary. Learn a valuable skill. Increase your earning potential. Create a realistic budget. Build an emergency fund. Reduce unnecessary expenses. Pay down high-cost debt. Explore legitimate opportunities for additional income. Seek professional financial guidance when appropriate. Do not wait for perfect circumstances before beginning. Small, consistent actions can become significant results over time. This is where many people misunderstand financial transformation. They want a dramatic change immediately, but lasting wealth is often built through ordinary actions repeated for years. The fifth principle is gratitude. Gratitude does not mean ignoring financial difficulties. It means refusing to allow what you lack to make you blind to what you already possess. Be grateful for the resources you currently have. Be grateful for the knowledge you can acquire. Be grateful for the opportunity to make better decisions. Be grateful for every step that moves you toward greater stability. Gratitude can change your relationship with money because it shifts your attention away from constant fear and toward responsible stewardship. And when gratitude is combined with clarity, alignment, and action, it becomes more than an emotion. It becomes part of a new way of living. Your financial future does not have to repeat your financial past. The cycle can change. The habits can change. The beliefs can change. The decisions can change. And when those things change consistently, your legacy can change with them. Hashtag the power of gratitude. Gratitude can transform the way you approach your financial journey. When you thank God for what you already have, even while praying for greater provision, you demonstrate that your faith is not based solely on what you can see. When you appreciate today's blessings before asking for tomorrow's opportunities, you develop a mindset of trust rather than constant fear. Gratitude can help weaken the belief that there will never be enough. Instead of constantly focusing on scarcity, you begin recognizing the resources, opportunities, relationships, and abilities already present in your life. A grateful heart says, I am prepared to receive more while remaining thankful for what I already have. This does not mean that gratitude guarantees financial miracles. It means that gratitude can change your perspective, your emotional state, and the decisions you make. Hashtag the sixth principle, generosity. The sixth principle is generosity. Giving has always held an important place in biblical teaching. However, generosity should not be viewed as a transaction in which you give money in order to force a financial return. True generosity comes from a willing heart. When you help someone who genuinely needs assistance, support a meaningful cause, share your knowledge, or contribute according to your ability, you participate in a culture of generosity and responsibility. Generosity reminds us that wealth is not only about accumulation. It is also about stewardship. Give wisely. Give willingly. Never give money because someone promises that a specific payment will guarantee a miracle, financial return, or supernatural reward. Your generosity should never put your own essential financial responsibilities at risk. The greatest form of abundance is not simply having more. It is having enough wisdom to use what you have well. Hashtag the seventh principle, faith. The seventh principle is faith. Faith means trusting God, even when the outcome remains uncertain. It does not require you to assume that a specific amount of money has already been guaranteed to you. Instead, faith allows you to believe that your life still contains possibilities you cannot currently see. Faith can give you the courage to continue. It can help you remain patient while making wise decisions. It can strengthen you when circumstances are difficult, and it can remind you that your identity is greater than your financial situation. Faith becomes especially powerful when it is combined with action. Pray, prepare, learn, work, give responsibly, make wise financial decisions, remain open to legitimate opportunities. When these principles work together, meaningful change becomes possible. Clarity gives you direction. Mindset shapes your behavior. Alignment connects your goals with your actions. Action creates movement. Gratitude changes your perspective. Generosity strengthens your relationship with others. Faith gives you endurance. That is a practical framework for financial growth. Write in the comments, I am ready to build a better financial future. Let this declaration represent commitment rather than magical thinking. Your future does not change simply because you type a sentence. It changes when your beliefs begin influencing better decisions, and those decisions are repeated consistently. The treasury of unexpected provision. Listen carefully. Many people imagine that divine provision exists as a hidden spiritual treasury containing a predetermined amount of money specifically assigned to them. Whether you understand that idea literally or symbolically, there is a deeper principle worth considering. Provision can arrive through many different channels. A new opportunity, a valuable connection, a new skill, a better position, a business idea, a wise investment, a financial decision that prevents unnecessary loss, a person who offers meaningful assistance, a door that opens after years of preparation. These opportunities may appear ordinary when they first arrive, yet they can have extraordinary consequences when handled wisely. Your future may contain resources and possibilities that you cannot see today, but receiving them requires more than expectation. It requires preparation. You cannot control every opportunity that comes into your life, but you can prepare yourself to recognize and responsibly manage those opportunities. This is where faith and action meet. Pray for wisdom. Ask for discernment. Prepare your finances. Develop your skills. Build relationships based on trust. And remain attentive to legitimate opportunities. Some people may receive an unexpected phone call that introduces them to a new career. Someone may discover a forgotten financial resource. Another person may qualify for a better paying position after developing new skills. A business owner may discover an underserved market and experience significant growth. A family may finally resolve a complicated financial matter. These outcomes do happen, but they are not evidence that every unexpected event is a supernatural financial transfer. They are reminders that life can change through circumstances we cannot always predict. The most important question is not simply, what am I going to receive? It is, am I prepared to manage what I receive? If greater income comes, can you manage it wisely? If an opportunity appears, can you recognize whether it is legitimate? If an inheritance arrives, do you understand the responsibilities attached to it? If your business grows, can you manage the additional demands? Preparation protects you from turning an opportunity into a new problem. So, make this declaration. Thank you, God, for the provision I already have and for the wisdom to recognize and manage future opportunities. Let gratitude come before expectation. Let wisdom accompany faith. And let action accompany prayer. Hashtag breaking the chains of financial dependence. Now, consider another important issue. Many people feel as though they are trapped in a financial cycle. They work for income. Their income pays for necessities. Unexpected expenses consume their savings. Debt creates additional pressure. Then they work more hours simply to recover what was lost. The cycle repeats. This can feel like financial slavery,